Dear friends, welcome back to Automate with Rakesh. In this video, we are going to learn a very important method which is a dot group by. Now, what is a group by? So the video agenda is what is group by? We will first see that in an Excel file. When you apply it on Excel, how it appears, we will see that. And then we will understand the syntax of group by method and how to apply that on UiPath. Third thing, we will see it returns a kind of a output which is known as IGrouping. I stands for interface grouping, which has a key and T element. I'm going to explain that in detail. It is very important for you to understand this. Third thing, we would also see once you get this kind of a output from group by method, how can you use the SelectMany method and convert that entire grouping into a data table format. Okay, so all these things will be used and this will be a very important learning for you. All right, so do not skip the video. As you know, skipping video might lead to a loss of key concept. So in-depth learning is essential. So do not skip the video. So let's get started and practically see everything in detail. To understand group by, first of all, what you do, create a simple Excel file having number, item and quantity, and I have given only 3 fruits so that it makes easy for us to understand. Apple, orange and mango, and I've given 5, 10, 15. After that, what you do, copy these elements down here and simply increase these numbers by 10. So here I'm saying 10 and orange I'm saying 15 and mango I'll increase by 5. Okay, now all this let's drag become 4, 5, 6. So this is your final table. I'm going to save it. Now when you apply a group by, what happens? Let me first show you in Excel. Now for that, you select any column and click on filter. Okay, and here you have an option A to Z or Z to A. So when you do this, what happens? The apple, mango, orange were one after the other, right? Now you can see anywhere there were apple, they have been grouped. Mango has been grouped. Orange has been grouped. So this is called grouping. I mean, all the similar items you are placing at one place rather than getting distributed. So previously it was appearing like this: apple, orange, mango, apple. So here it has grouped and this is how you saw it. Okay, so this is a result of a grouping. So this you have understood. Now how you apply a LINQ query to achieve exactly the same thing on UiPath, let me show you. So first of all, let me put it back and let me save it. So now it is in normal order. We have to group it. So let me save this file. Now I have already written a code. I am going to walk through each and every step. I will delete everything and recreate it. Don't worry. First, let's see a demo. Let me run this specific query. So finally, I'm writing that code output in a data table and writing in a log message. Okay. Now, if you see the output, what happened? You got this similar output. You got all apples at one place, then orange at another place, mango at one place. So now you have exactly done the same thing what you saw in Excel. In case you'd like to write it to an Excel, you can use this opt output dt and then write range and all that you can do. Simply I'm using a log message to show you live. So you just now saw the demo of group by. Now you will be interested to learn the code. What is this code is all about? How do you write the code? What is the meaning of the code? How to write the syntax? So let's see that. So for this, let me quickly delete everything and we will start. So here I have an Excel process code where it is reading that Excel file and storing the value in the dt. So dt becomes your input data table on which you would apply the LINQ query. Okay, so this is your dt. Let me minimize from the top. Okay, now let us drag and drop assign activity. And here, first of all, we need that output in a data table format. So let me create a variable. I think already a variable should be there called output dt. So I'll use the same variable output dt. And now the important part is learning the syntax. Let me click on this. expand it and start writing the code. So for this, you will first use the input data table variable. After that, you put a dot, and then as usual, because it is a data table, you'll be converting that to as enumerable. Simple. Post applying enumerable, you are writing the group by. So what is enumerable? All this I've discussed multiple times. So now it is converting it to data rows, and now in the data rows, you're applying a group by function. Here, group by method. Here you write parenthesis and then define the lambda function, for example x, function x, and here where or which column you would like to apply that group by. For example, in the Excel we saw, if I go back to the Excel, here what we did, on this column we have applied that, right? If you apply a filter, and then on the item column I want to organize. So if I do A to Z, what happened? Apple, mango and orange has come. So let me do a Control G, remove the filter and save it. So the main important part is to understand which column you would like to apply. So here, what is our column name? Item is our column name. So what I will do with this X object, I'm going to write the column name item. Okay. And then you will say ToString. And then in case you would like to trim it, you can trim it if there is any extra space in that value of X item. Then it will trim. So this is your group by function. So you are done with this. Now, after writing this function, what is important is to understand what it returns. Does it return a data table directly, or does it return something else? So let me hit on save, and definitely there's an error, and we have to read this error carefully. So highlight this error. If I highlight, if you could read my screen, it says cannot assign from type system.collection.generic .INumerable system.link .IGrouping. What it's saying? IGrouping. And then it is saying system.string.systemData.data row. Now what is the IGrouping? I have to show you. So what is the output of this? If I copy this code to a notepad, this is the very first step we have done. So what is the output of this code? dt.AsEnumerable group by function x item.toString. So what is the output? So the output type is IGrouping of what? IGrouping of, if you read it again, from here you read where IGrouping is written, okay? IGrouping of system.string.system.data row. That means it's a string and data row. So I'll simply say string, comma, data row. System.data is a namespace. Finally, dot data row. So that is string and data row. So there are two different values in this. Okay. So the first value is known as key, and the second is the element. Now, what is this key element? What is this IGrouping? Everything we have to understand in detail before we proceed further. Okay, we have to understand this in very details. So let us do it. I want to bold this. Okay. So let us understand what is IGrouping. Now to understand IGrouping, all you do, copy this code. I'll remove it, delete this, and let us use our activity for each. Okay. All right. So current item is there, and here in this expression, you are simply writing it here. So now we heard about a new data type, which is IGrouping, which contains key and element. Now let me show you this particular data type. Okay, I've simply written it in the, I did not save it. So let me write the same code and I'm saving it. Okay, I'll just go through that syntax through a for each loop. Now first I have to make you understand what is this IGrouping. For this, let me select any of the variable, go to browse for types, and here let me type IGrouping. Okay, now if you type IGrouping, do you see there is a data type in LINQ? This is a LINQ data type, system.link, which has two different elements, more like a dictionary. You have worked on with dictionaries, more like a dictionary, which has a key and an element. So what is this key and element? Let us practically see it. You saw the data type. So at least you got an idea what is IGrouping data type. It's a LINQ data type, which has a key and element more like a dictionary. That was understanding we have got it. Now let me cancel this. Let's go back. So I'm using the for each loop, and here there is a current item, and this is the code, exact code I have written. This code returns what? This code returns, it returns, instead of output type, I'll say returns a value which is a data type IGrouping, which contains string and data row. That means a key and an element. The key is in string format and the element is in data row format. Now what is that? Let us have a quick look. So I've applied this code, and here let me add probably a log message. Okay, now the log message, what I will do, I'll simply say current item dot key. So I said a IGrouping object contains two things. What is that? A key and an element. So what is there in the key? What is there in the element? We will see it just now. So I've written key. After that, here let us apply a breakpoint. Go to debug tab and click on a breakpoint. Now let us debug it. Okay, we'll only debug this just to understand that concept. Okay, now in the immediate panel, what I'm going to do, the current item, because it is inside the loop, I will see the current item. I'll simply type the current item variable, hit enter. Now if I do this, what happened? The current item is giving some value. It is saying in the key the value is apple. What it's saying in the key, what is the value? In the key the value is apple as per our data, right? The key is apple, and here if you see, it has some value. It is saying apple. Look at this, apple having the value 5. So there are multiple elements with the same key. What is the key? Apple. And the what are the values available in that? Apple and comma 5 coming from your data table. Okay, so apple whose value is 5, there's an element. And then if you read that line once again there is another value here, apple with the value 10. Okay, so the key is same. For one single key there are two different elements. One is apple with 5 and then apple with 10. So what? So this is a string and this is a data row. Data row means what? It can have multiple columns. So this is a one column, this is another column, right? And there's no ID also there. You see ID 1 apple 5. So there's ID. There are 3 columns in our data table, right? The ID column, the number column, item and quantity. There are 3 columns. So 1 apple 5. Now if you read it carefully, it also has all these 3 value apple. So let me copy this until here. Okay, and what is the key name? Key name is apple. With that key name there is a data row which contains this element. Getting it? So this is the key and this is the element. So inside a IGrouping, what are the two things are present? One is a key and there is a element. Again, let's look at the second value. So the key is same, comma, look at it. Now if you look at this carefully, I don't know if you could read this, but again if you look at here, there is another item 4 apple 10. So the key is apple, but again inside that there are multiple data rows. So let me copy this until here. Okay, from this to this. Okay, copied it just to give you a understanding. Okay, so what this group by returns? The group by returns a IGrouping. And what this IGrouping contains? A key which remains common. And then it contains an element. The element is of data row type. Right? Element was of data row type. And this contains the ID exactly from your Excel file. Right? The number and the item and the quantity, the number, item and quantity. If you cross verify with your Excel, exactly 4 apple 10, 1 apple 5, right? Let's go back. Same thing is there. Now let me, because I have applied a breakpoint, let me continue. Okay, again the loop has stopped here. Now if you type current item again and hit enter, so what happens here? What is the next key? The next key has come orange, the same format, so the data will be slightly different. So this is one set of key and element. Now let's verify the next set. That's why I told you to keep limited number of data so that it is easy to understand. So what is the next key that we got is orange, exactly as per our table, right? Orange. Now in orange, what are the values it has got? The ID is 2 and then orange, then the value is 10. So let's copy that. So exactly the same way how I am doing, you should do this exercise on your notepad so that you understand. Got it? And what is the second object? So the second object is starting from here, having the ID 5, orange, and the value is 15. Okay, let's compare that with Excel. Getting it? So now let's compare that with Excel. 2, 5, orange, 10, 15. So orange 2, orange 10. So if you see 5, orange 15. Okay, 5, orange 15, 2, orange 10. So exactly we have got it. Now if you run for the third time, you already understood. If I continue and check the value of current item now, hit enter. Now what is the next key we have got? Mango, as per our data, mango. Okay, now mango also has the same data, like 3 mango 15 and then 6 mango 20. So if you look at your Excel, 3 mango 15, 6 mango 20. So what is happening now here? It has created how many groups? 3 groups. Okay, so this writing is important so that you understand. Mango, next key is mango, the key is same, the values are different. What is the value here? 3 mango 15 is one value. Slowly you learn one by one, no need to hurry. Now let's see 6 mango 20. No, I did a copy, something I made wrong. Okay, so now understand, this is how 3 sets of groups have come. This is one group, this is your second group, this is your third group, because we have kept only 3 sets of data. If there are multiple, so many such groups will come. So how many groups you have got? 3 groups. Now what is the meaning of I grouping? Let me tell you. I stands for interface grouping. Interface means what? Which a group which has a common key. What is the interface meaning? A group which has a common key. Clear? So here, this is our actual data, right? This is our exact data. This data is now grouped in 3 different sets because there are unique keys available. So how many sets we have got? This is one set. This is your second set containing orange. Okay, sorry, I did not change that. So orange, and the third set is your mango. So how many 3 sets? You have got 3 different sets. So 3 groups are there. Getting it? So because there are 3 groups, you cannot directly convert this to a data table. Okay, let's go back. Let me stop this. Okay, and you saw it was printing the key names apple, orange, and mango as per our this one current.item.key, right? So it was printing all the key names. Getting it? Now let me remove this or do a Control Z. Okay, I got the assign activity. Control G, Control G. Did I get it? One more time. Okay, I got the previous setup. Okay, so now let's look at this. Okay, so until now we have applied this. Okay, only we have applied this dt.AsEnumerable.GroupBy function x item.ToString. trim. So this what it does, it has returned a output which is called IGrouping, which has a key, which has an element. We have understood this pretty clearly. Now our objective is that, okay, whatever it is, you convert that to a data table so that I can use that variable to write it in the Excel. That is our main aim. So how to achieve that? Let me tell you. So here, let me remove and save it. I am not saving it. So this is what we have written, right? Until now. So let me save it. So the error is still there, right? Which is saying you cannot convert the I grouping to a data table. Then what should I do? Okay, I cannot group. Can I directly apply a copy to data table here? For example, if I simply say copy to data table and hit on save, your code will get an error. Do you see? CopyToDataTable is not a member of INumerable of I grouping of string and data row. So you cannot apply a CopyToDataTable, that is understood. So what should I do next? So remember, because there are three groups, if it is one collection, you can easily go. There are three collections. How many collections we have? So you saw there are multiple collections, more than one collection is there. If there are more than one collection where you have to work on, then there is a method that I'll teach you. The method name is dot select many. What is it? Dot select many. So this is the methods dot select many. Now what this method do? Let me first tell you. Select many. What is the second step we are learning? We are learning select many. How to apply the select many. So until here you have understood the group by how it provides an output. Now that output you have to convert it to a data table. That's why we are using select many. So what this select many do? It will group all the collection into one collection. So here if you see, when you applied group, there are three collections got created internally. 1, 2 and 3. So now we have to club all this into one single collection. So that is done by select many. You select many groups and make it one. You can look through multiple groups, and so that is the meaning of select many. Now what I will do, I'll write select many, and then again, whenever there's a method, you'll be using a lambda function. So I will say, you can write y, z, whatever you like, okay? And then, so instead of y, you can also write, that's fine, or group you can write, so that it makes an understanding, group. So now it is going through groups. So this is one group, this is another I group, this is another I group. Okay, there are three groups. So now the select many method will go through the first group and then space group. So then it will put it to this variable. So it adds one, then it will go pick the second group. It will pick the second group and then add to that one once again in the same variable, and the third group it will add to that one. So finally what is happening? It is taking one that group and adding into one variable. So it is making a single collection. So there are three items. So now it is taking first group and then second group and third group and making one single collection. So what is the purpose of this? It creates a single collection of groups. There are multiple collections. So it took all the three collections and made one group through writing this lambda function here. Understood? Now once you do this, hit on save. Now read the error now. See how in detail I am going one by one, because once you have understood, you will be able to understand such queries lifetime if you have an understanding. Now read this error. Now if I read this error, what it says, cannot assign from type system.collection generic INumerable system.data row. Last time the error was talking about I grouping, cannot assign from I grouping. Now after applying select many, what it returns, this is important, what it returns? It returns INumerable of what? Data rows. INumerable of data rows. Now read the error once again. What it says, INumerable, read the last line, okay? System.collection or generic, you leave that. INumerable system.data. System.data, your namespace, and then dot data row. So that is mean collection of data rows. So by applying SelectMany, what happened? The IGrouping is now converted to IEnumerable data row. So what happened? The first output was this when you applied GroupBy. Okay. Now this got converted to what? IEnumerable of data rows. That means collection of data rows. So that is why we have used SelectMany. And then if you apply a copy to data table, if you write copy to data table, now what it will get converted to? It will convert to data table. So copy to data table is a method which is going to convert your collection of data rows means single rows, into a data table. It will convert that to a data table. So now what we will do, we'll go back to the code. Okay. So this is giving a IEnumerable of data rows. So here I can very well go ahead and apply copy to data table. Now if you apply, there is no error. If you hit on save, what would happen now? This entire syntax is going to convert everything to a data table. See, lot of learning, right? Hope you are enjoying that and understanding that. Now I'm simply using output data table and then text dt and then printing that in a log message. Pretty simple. So let me run it. You can write it to an Excel file and all that you can do. What happened? Value for required activity argument message was not supplied. Doc, auto hide. Let me see. Text dt.string. Okay, sorry, for each loop is still there. Huh? Okay, let me remove that. Okay, let me run it. Okay, now it is reading the data table from the Excel and then it has applied the query. You can see how fast it is doing. If you would have done through activities, you would have added so many activities to achieve the same thing. Now you can see how easily we have done it by writing the code, and this looks more professional of you knowing the code. Now we look at the output. What happened? Apple grouped together, orange grouped together, mango grouped together. So this is a group by function that you have learned with lot of details. If this video was helpful, please do comment. Do not forget to comment if this video was really helpful for you or not. Thank you guys for watching. Let's move on to our next topic. Keep watching and keep liking the videos that you're watching. Do not forget, and please do subscribe to my channel in case you have not done it already. Thank you. Let's meet once again.